This yoga class is appropriate for everyone, but is especially useful for those who are looking to feel more connected to their bodies. We spend countless hours living in our minds, allowing our thoughts to drive us. As a result, we often ignore signals from our bodies about what it needs. We don't eat when we're hungry. We don't rest when we're tired. We override our body wisdom because we're worried about falling behind, yet what we seek is balance. Embodiment practices like the ones shown here are especially good for people who want to stop counting calories and still lose weight. Reconnecting to the body's natural signals can help us learn to eat more intuitively. This style of yoga is also good for people who have experienced trauma. We often separate ourselves from our feelings and distance ourselves from our bodies as a way to cope. This works temporarily, but to be truly healed, we must become whole again. For anyone, this type of yoga class may feel strange. It may bring up unexpected emotions and thoughts. Please try to bring self-compassion into your practice. See if you can surrender and allow your experience to be just as it is.
So just begin lying down on your back. If you like, you can take a bolster or a folded blanket and bring it right under your knees to let yourself be a little more relaxed and comfortable in this posture. You can move your hips gently from side to side, and then just allow the whole body to rest completely down on your mat. Feel the body starting at the crown of the head, scanning to the back of the head, the neck. Feel the shoulders, tops of the shoulders and shoulder blades. Feel the arms, top and bottom of both arms, the wrists and the fingers, backs of the hands resting at the sides of your mat. Notice the upper, middle, and lower back supported completely by the mat. Just held here. Notice the weight of the hips. Feel the fronts and backs of the upper leg, the knee, and the lower legs. Feel the ankles and the feet. Really just scanning the body, noticing how it's feeling to you right now in this moment, without trying to change anything. Just starting to come into our bodies, fully feel the state that our bodies are in, without trying to fix anything, without trying to change, without judgment. And then see where you might feel the breath in the body. Just notice the rise and fall of the belly, the ribs, or the chest, or any combination of those three. See if you can connect with breath the sides of the waist, or even at the back side of the body, since the back is connected to your mat. See if you can feel the breath in the back body. And then perhaps setting an intention here for your practice to let go of any thoughts about how this class should happen, about what you should or shouldn't be able to do. See if you can turn the keys to the car of your body over completely to the body. The mind becoming a passenger this time. You can let your mind know that the body will take care of itself. It can be trusted. It has a wisdom. It knows what it needs. So the mind can take a little break. It worked so hard. It deserves some rest as well. And as you're lying here, just notice the back of your head on the mat. And begin to move the head. Special instruction here, just begin to move your head. Feeling how the head can move while you're lying here on the mat. Notice any places that feel tight, maybe in the neck. Notice the range of motion that you have from side to side. Just noting where it might feel different. Moving very slowly through space, feeling the massaging quality of the back of the head on the mat. And then bringing the head to stillness. Sliding your perception, your attention to the face. Just take a moment to feel the forehead, the areas around the eyes, the cheeks, the mouth and the jaw. And then move the face. Whatever faces feel good. If you like, you can even bring the hands up to the face and begin to just give yourself a little face massage with the fingers and the hands. Just using pressure that feels comfortable for you. Rubbing wherever feels like it would be helpful. Try not to think too much about it. Just let the hands move along the face. You can squish the face in any way. You can bring the ears into it a little bit if you like. Maybe even the neck. Just exploring the face. What feels good? And if the hands are floating over the face, just bring them back down to your sides, nice and slowly, mindfully, gently. And when they arrive, just notice how the face feels. or massaging it. Next, your attention moves to your hands and your fingers. Before you move, just notice that part of your body. And then, without thinking, the hands and the fingers begin to move. You can keep the hands down on the mat. You can bend the elbows and bring them up. You might rotate the wrists. You might stretch each of the fingers. You might spread the fingers. It's all possible. There are movements that you can do with your body that I am not going to suggest. Really, any shape, any movement with hands. Let's try to let go of what's the right thing to do here. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. You don't even have to watch. You can just close your eyes and move your hands. And then slowly bringing hands back down to the mat. Just notice how the body feels, just completely relaxed. Safe here on the mat. That part of you that can focus on the body now goes to the feet and the toes. You don't need to wait for me to suggest that you begin to move the feet and the toes. What feels like the right thing to do for your body in this moment. Just moving, feeling. Exploring ankles, exploring toes, maybe noticing muscles and tendons in the top of the foot, and the legs and the ankles as you move the feet. Really being very sensitive to the sensations that the movements bring. And then complete the movement of the feet and toes. Just coming back to stillness, allowing the legs to flop open. Notice your breath. Notice your body. And then very slowly take a few breaths just to move to your right side. So you can gently press any props that you had under the legs out of the way. And just bend the knees coming onto the right side of your body, just like you would do at the end of a class, maybe right after the relaxation pose. Find a comfortable place at your side. Feel the right side of the body rooting down into your mat. And then send that attention to your left arm, the arm that's on top, that's free. And explore the movement of the left arm. The shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, the hand, the fingers again if you like. There's no specific direction you need to move. There's no right answer. There's just feeling. There's breathing. There's exploring. Let the mind go. Let the body direct. You're moving rather spontaneously. You can imagine just moving the particles of air out of the way as the limb moves through space, parting the waters, so to speak. And then move the arm in one new way that you haven't yet. And then bring it back into stillness. Just noticing the arm. And then your very focused attention goes to the left leg. And no thought, movement of that leg. Before you can think about how to move that leg, it has already moved. Feeling into the hips, noticing the knee. Again, the foot and the ankle can be part of this. Staying connected with the right side of the body, but moving that leg through space. Of that leg. And then bring it back to stillness. Notice the left side of your body, how it feels, how it breathes. And then just roll yourself back onto your back. You may need to adjust yourself a little bit on your mat. And then gently come over to the left side of your body. I'm going to sit up and turn so you can see me, but there's no need for you to do that. You can simply roll over to that left side, and when you arrive, really feel the left side of the body connecting to the mat. You can imagine magnets between your mat and your body. And then the right arm begins to float, to rise, to swim, to move freely in any and every direction the body dictates. Nice, slow and fluid movements. Noticing breath. Feeling the sensations of the movements. Notice any creaking or cracking. Take a new movement with that arm. And then bring it back down into stillness. Relaxing, releasing. Now you feel the right leg. You feel the right leg moving, transitioning, exploring. Maybe you notice a slight difference between the right and left sides of your body. Just allow that to be as it is. Again, feeling into hip, into the muscles of the legs, noticing the knee and the ankle. Fresh new movement. Bringing that leg back into stillness. Taking at least 5 breaths. Feeling the whole right side of the body. And then finding your own way to come back to a seated position. There's no rush. You can move in slow motion here. Noticing the weight transfers. Noticing the habitual ways that you might move. And feeling free to take any props, bolster or blanket under the hips to raise them higher than the knees. Coming very slowly and mindfully into a comfortable seated position. Pressing sitting bones down, finding those roots. Once again, lengthening the spine through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale out with a sigh. Let's explore the head once again. Just beginning to move the head in any way that feels good. Now that you are no longer resting on the floor, you can take the head not just side to side, but a little more easily taking it forward and back. Maybe turning a chin to one side, just once again feeling what is appropriate for you right now. Giving yourself the time to explore the sensations in the sides of the neck. And then taking 2 more breaths, moving the head. And then bring the head back up over the shoulders. Then begin to feel the shoulders, move them in any way that feels good to you. They can move together, they can move separately, forward, back. You can allow the arms to move with the shoulders. Just fluid movements. Head can continue to move. Finding new ways to move your body. Keep your eyes closed to keep your attention inside. I will guide you and tell you when to move on. And if you haven't allowed the arms to participate, begin to do that now. Reaching, moving, bending. And then bring your hands to rest on the knees. Come to your seated upright position, and we'll just circle the torso. Forward, to the left, to the back, to the right. Just allowing the whole upper body to move in that circle. You can go very slowly. In fact, I'll suggest that you might speed down your movement by half. So really feeling the muscles, the joints, the breath. And then pausing wherever you happen to be, reverse your circles, going in the other direction, and once again, cutting down your speed by half. Head and neck are relaxed. Shoulders and arms are relaxed. Just going with the flow of the body. The whole body in control. Mind resting. The body safe to explore, to know when and where to go. Take one more breath in. Keep moving. One more breath out. Keep moving. And then come back up to center. Finding sitting bones once again, sitting nice and tall. Bring your right hand to the mat at the side of your body. Inhale. Lift your left arm and imagine as though your fingers are touching the side wall. Sweep the fingers up the side wall till it gets to the place where the ceiling and the wall touch, and then sweep the fingers up along the ceiling, up over your head. Begin to send that right hand down and out, getting a stretch in the side body. Allow the left arm to come up over your head. Either gaze straight ahead or take the head down. Turn the chest open toward the sky. And then, keeping the left sitting bone down, just begin to move the arm. Move the head. Stay in that lateral stretch, but see where you can play. You take that arm back, around the back, forward toward the knee, maybe turning the torso slightly down, getting a little twist in there. Really feeling what's right for body. Swimming, feeling again the parting of the air with the hand, with the arm. Take one more breath in here. Moving, free. One more breath out. And then inhale, use that top arm to help you come back to center. Shoulders roll up to ears, back and down. Send left hand out along the mat. Right arm reaches. Remember, fingers stretch to the wall. They climb up the wall, up to the ceiling. As the right hip stays down, you reach up and over the head with the hand. Gaze can be down, or straight ahead, or even up at the fingers, if that doesn't strain your neck. And then close your eyes and begin the movement. Don't think about how you should move. Really see if you can surrender into any shape that works for you here. Seeing If you can keep that side stretch in the right side of the body, but exploring the range of movement with the other body parts. Just like we did as we were lying on one side of the body, there were certain restrictions, but there were also a lot of freedoms. So see where you can be free, where you can move freely, without judgment, without criticism or self-consciousness. Take one more breath in, continue to move. See if you can move in a new way. One more breath out. And then use that top arm to help you inhale back to your center position. Take shoulders up to the ears. Roll them back. And roll them down. And now we'll transition to hands and knees. So if you're sitting on a prop, you may want to just move that gently to the side. If your knees are sensitive, you can always double up your mat or place a blanket underneath your knees. Make sure your knees are hip-width distance apart. Bring your hands out in front of you, directly under the shoulders. Spread your fingers and press your palms down into the mat. Inhale as you lift the tailbone, chest and crown of the head come to the front of the room in your cow pose. Exhale, slide the tailbone underneath you. Back rounds, gaze comes down between the knees. Relax the head and neck and the shoulders. And then inhale, come back to cow. Really feeling each of the vertebrae in the spine. Thinking about lengthening, keeping the head and neck in line with the rest of the spine, so no need to tilt the head all the way back and crane the neck. And now flow freely here. You can imagine taking the cat and cow to a side, sending the hips out a little bit to one side, maybe twisting a little bit, looking over a shoulder. But continue to move in the cat and cow positions, nice and slow. Again, where are you restricted by this posture and where is there freedom? If the wrists are sensitive or you want an alternative posture, you can come down onto forearms and continue to round the spine. And then sending the tailbone up. And again, moving side to side. Noticing what's free. Take a couple more breaths here. See if you can really move with your breath. So each inhale and each exhale, you connect. And then come to a neutral spine, so somewhere right between cat and cow. Send your knees out nice and wide to the sides of your mat. Bring your big toes to touch and sink your hips back toward your heels in child's pose. The arms can walk out along the mat. Forehead can rest on the mat. And then once again explore movement here. So hips maybe from side to side. Palms can flip up to the sky. Noticing any rotation in your shoulders. You can bring your hands behind if you like. You can massage the forehead on the mat. Arms can come out wide. There's a lot of options for movement here in child's pose. lift the chest and sink it back down, doing little cat-cows here perhaps. Maybe walking the hands over to one side and feeling a side stretch. Moving with the body's intention. And then looking forward, bring your hands back to the mat. Come back to hands and knees. So knees will be parallel under your hips. Walk your hands out a little further, so they're not under your shoulders anymore, but they give you a little wider base. And let's take the hips forward and back. And to the left and to the right. And then just get into this. Allow the body to move the hips in circles in either direction to start. You will likely pick a favorite direction, one that feels natural to your body. And just see if you can close your eyes, keep the hands and knees planted, and the circles just happen. The body just goes with it. Those circles may not be even. You may want to hang out at some place in some part of that circle. Notice your breathing. As you come forward, you may come into almost a high cobra. And as you come back, you might come almost into a child's pose once again. Or you may make these movements smaller. Small, tiny circles. You might find that you swing a little bit more left and right, maybe taking the hips in a U shape. Allow the head and neck to relax, the shoulders to get involved, the elbows to bend however they need to keep you comfortable. And if you haven't explored the opposite direction with your circles, take the hips in the other direction. Notice how that feels. Notice if any labels come up in the mind about this experience. And remind the mind that it's letting go for right now. The body is driving. And that you are safe in this experience. One more breath in here. And then walk your hands underneath your body. Cross your ankles behind you. Roll over your feet. And come onto your seat, extending the legs out in front of you. You can untuck your mat if you've doubled it up for your knees. Bring your knees together and your feet together. Bring your peace fingers together and just allow your hands to rest at the sides of your mat, sitting up nice and tall, feeling those sitting bones pressing down. Look at your feet, flex your toes toward your face, and then point the toes, and flex, spread the toes if you like, and point, and flex. And then bring your hands to your thighs. Lift through the chest, draw the shoulder blades together behind your back. As you exhale, imagine you're rounding up over a ball. So there's a ball right at your belly, and you're taking the chest beyond that ball, walking the hands down the legs. Release the head and neck. Draw the belly in and up and use it to help bring you back to that first seated position. Allow the shoulders to roll up and back and down, hands sliding up the legs. So inhale, chest reaches forward, fingers walk down, gaze comes down, inhale. So we're almost doing little body rolls here in our forward fold. Careful with the head and neck. And just keeping some fluid movement in the body. If you feel safe here and want to feel more, you can circle the arms. And and reach them back into the body. Just gluing the sitting bones down. Everything else that's free to move can move. Backs of the legs stay nice and soft. You might swim one arm forward and the other arm back. Again, just exploring this movement. Feeling that cat and cow feeling in the spine. Never feeling pain or pinching. If you do, please take a pause, take a break. You can also bend the knees slightly here or bring a bolster or rolled blanket under the knees. So again, just swimming forward, keeping the spine long, sending the tail back. And take one more here, leaning forward. And coming back. And then bring your hands behind you. Bend your knees and bring your feet flat on your mat, hip width distance apart. Make sure your hands feel comfortable as they can behind you. You might want to place your hands on blocks if you like. Take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh, flexing the foot. Allow the knee to drop open to the side. I'll turn this way so you can see this view. Find both sitting bones by wiggling back and forth just a little bit, lifting up through the chest. And then close the eyes again and just begin to rock a little bit from side to side. Moving slowly. Feeling the knee succumbing to gravity, so not forcing it out to the side, but just letting it naturally fall. Feeling any sensations in the hips. And as you rock from side to side, you may notice some sensitivity in the glutes. Make sure you're breathing and moving mindfully. Remember, we move, we feel, we move, and we feel, and we breathe. The next time you start rocking to the right side, continue to rock over to the right side, adjusting your hands as you need to, until you feel what's perhaps some sensation in that right butt cheek. Might feel a bit like you're getting massaged, or if you've ever used a foam roller. Feel free to walk the foot in, the left foot, if you need a little more stability. And just rocking back and forth on that place where you feel tightness in the glute. If you don't feel it, just move a little bit forward, move a little bit back. See if you can identify that area. See if you can trust the body to help you find that place. It might be far over, it might be a little further forward or back. Let's see where you can connect. Working out any of that tension through movement. And then inhale, coming back to center, resetting the hands, lifting the chest, pressing down through sitting bones, crown reaches up, knee is nice and relaxed. Breath in and breath out. And then releasing that right ankle, bringing both feet flat to the mat. Scoot your bum back a little bit, bring the soles of your feet together. Now here you may find that you want the feet to be a little closer into the body. You might feel that more in the inner thighs in that case. If you send the feet a little further away, you might feel this more in the lower back. So play with the positioning of the feet, find a place that works for you. To start, sit up nice and tall. Bring the hands to the shins. Lift the chest, broaden the collarbones. Close the eyes and feel. You might place blocks under the knees. If they're very high up off the mat and want a little support, that's fine. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, send that chest forward, walking the hands down toward the feet. Really sliding the tailbone back, relaxing the head and neck, maybe grabbing hold of the feet with the hands, gazing down at the feet, going down nice and slow, feeling the sensations. Again, inner thighs or back or both, maybe somewhere else for you. Shoulders relax so you can move the torso side to side. You can move the head, the shoulders can move, the elbows can move. So keeping with the idea of the fluidity of the movement here, so not needing to stay still, just exploring the right and left sides of the lower back, the right and left inner thighs. Maybe you come in and out of the rounding of the spine. Maybe you focus on lengthening out and then rounding forward. Again, these movements are all dynamic. They are whatever you want them to be. You can lean over to sides. You can reach the arms out to the sides. These are all just options. You can come completely up and lift up and then drop forward again, just like we did in our extended legged forward fold. You can reach arms up, turning to a side. Really just play. Let the body explore. There's no need to do what I'm doing. See how much you can let go. How much you can surrender. How much you can free the mind from controlling the body. And let the body take over. Take a couple more breaths in here. Again, doing what feels right. And a couple more breaths to transition back up to seated. When you arrive, bring the legs back up, the knees back together, separate the feet, hip-width distance apart. Hands come behind you, bum can scooch forward a little bit, and bring that left ankle up over the right thigh, flexing the foot. Now this side may feel different, so walk it into your degree. And sliding the eyes closed, moving from side to side with the legs. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Seeing how close to the body's wishes you can remain. Noticing any tightness in the hips, the lower back. Not creating tension in shoulders or face, so feel free to move any free parts around. And then if you like, rocking all the way over to the left side and adjusting the hands until you feel maybe an owie spot in that left glute. Notice if you've made a face when you found that spot. And just noticing the reaction the body has in the face to sensation in other places in the body. Leaning forward or back. Just really getting into that place that feels tight, where you may be holding stress or tension. And take one more breath in here to play on this side. And then bring it back to center. Placing both sitting bones down, lifting up through chest. Feeling and breathing. And then releasing that foot down. Take your legs out in a wider straddle position. Now, if you already feel this, the second you place your legs out, bring them in a little closer. Flex your feet. bring your hands to your hip creases and just press down. You might want to rotate the thighs out slightly, so sending them back and down. Imagine as though there are roots at the backs of your legs. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And once again, we'll bring the hands to the front of the body and send the chest forward, reaching the fingers forward to your degree, gazing down at your mat. And then rounding the spine, inhale and crawling back up. See if you can make this a fluid motion, sending the chest forward, shoulders back, head and neck relax. Inhale, sweeping up. And then just take this in any way that you want it to go. You can sweep from side to side. You can point the toes and see how that changes the sensation in the body. You can involve the arms, getting more of a side stretch. Again, just ideas. Just going with your body, finding your own flow, feeling your own sensations here. Maybe noticing things in your body that you have not been aware of. Places that are asking for your attention. Notice any feelings or thoughts you're having about this journey we're on together here, moving freely, being so present in the body. Notice the words that come to mind when you start labeling what you're doing here. And just allow those labels to fall away. Just notice that you think those things and come back to just listening, letting everything be okay, letting everything feel safe. Allowing your body to feel really connected with the earth, with your breath, and with your feelings. Take 3 more breaths here, moving in any shape the body feels like in this wide-legged forward fold. Dancing the arms through space, the chest, the torso. And then coming back to an upright position, sliding the feet and the legs together, shaking them out, or taking any other movement that feels good to you after having had the legs out nice and wide. Now take at least 5 breaths to transition to your belly. Continue to move in a very slow and mindful way. Feeling any weight changes, feeling any places of tension, and stretching out the body in any way along that way that feels good. Eventually settling into the face down position with the hands resting under the chin or turning the cheek to a side. Start to wiggle the hips slightly from side to side, feeling the pubic bone pressing down into the mat and noticing the state of the lower back. Tops of the feet resting comfortably on the mat. Very slowly begin to come onto your forearms, bringing elbows underneath shoulders, spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing the palms down into the mat so there's no space between the hands and the mat. And the forearms are equally pressing down. Pelvis is still connected as your root position. The toes are starting to stretch toward the back of the room. The chest and crown of the head move toward the front. So you're finding any length in the spine, sliding the shoulder blades together. I'm not looking for height here, just looking for length. And once again, begin to just glide the body. Just moving the torso from left to right, relaxing head, neck and face. Pressing pelvis, lifting the belly up off the mat, just to protect the lower back. If at any time you feel any pinching or pain, please come down and take a rest. Otherwise, just feel in this low cobra, in this low sphinx position. And then slide the chest back down to the mat, bringing hands back under the head. Wiggle the hips again from side to side. Bring the feet up to the sky. Move the legs in any way. Spread the toes. Rotate ankles. And then bring the feet back down to the mat. You can take that same position, or you can lift the gaze, bring the hands under the shoulders this time. Press the pubic bones down, hug the elbows in tight to your body, lift the belly and the chest off the mat. Going as high as you feel comfortable. Remembering to focus on length in through the spine, shoulders nice and relaxed. And once again, just taking your cobra and moving it around, gazing over a shoulder, pressing down into one hip bone and then the other. Just feeling, allowing elbows to bend and straighten, head to come down. Head to comfortably look up, slithering back and forth like a snake, coming out of the basket. Just flowing, fluid movements. Moving what can move and relaxing what can relax. Exploring. When you feel complete here, just using the hands and the strength of the arms to lower down. Hands come back under the chin. Knees bend once again. And legs float around. Any tension in the lower back, you find your body can release with the movement that it wants to take. And then lowering the feet back down to the mat. Take 5 breaths at least to come back to lying on your back. So with each breath, we find a way to move. We listen. You can sit up, or you can just find a way to roll over. Just scooching yourself as you need to stay on your mat. Taking any stretches along the way. getting reconnected, the backside of the body with the mat. Extending the legs to begin. Taking the head from side to side, wiggling around. Anything you need to do here. And then hug the right knee up into your chest. Give it a squeeze with the hands. Feel free to move the ankle or the toes. Follow it by the other knee coming up. Squeezing both knees in. And rocking gently from side to side. You can take the knees out wide if that feels better. And then dropping the arms out to the sides like wings, shoulder height, palms up. Take the knees over to a side. Just drop the knees and the feet down in a gentle reclined twist. And begin to explore your body in this position. What can move? What can release? The head may move from side to side. You may move the face in any way. Hands can rotate down, palms down, or fingers stretching toward the sides. The knees can come in closer to the chest, or they can move out further away. That top leg can move and lengthen. Just keeping the torso facing the ceiling so you still have a bit of a twist in the side body. Maybe bringing a hand atop the knees. If there's a lot of space between the knees, a block or a bolster or a folded up blanket between the knees can be nice. And if there's a lot of space between the knees and the mat, you can place one there as well. So just feeling, continuing to move. If you find a place that feels really great, feel free to stay there and move a different part of your body. And then taking at least a few more breaths to come back up with the knees hugging into the chest, transitioning in whatever way feels best for you right now. Feel free to let out any sighs during this practice. You may hear the body making sounds with creaks and cracks. Just notice and feel. Hugging the knees up into the chest once again. Find when they're ready to move to the other side. And repeating that same exploration with the other side of the twist. Face, head, shoulders and arms. Just finding your way on this side. Maybe this side feels different. It's very common. So just notice. Few breaths to come back up. The knees hugged into the chest. And then take at least 10 breaths at least, to move in any other way your body is searching for. They don't have to be yoga postures that you've learned. Just any shape, any movement. Remember, we're listening to body, not to mind in this practice. So let go of any shoulds, any uncertainty as best you can. And just flow through movement, parting the air with the body parts. Being curious and compassionate whenever you find that either your mind is judging or wondering what to do. We spend so much time in our minds that it's hard to let the mind go. Just do the best you can, and each time you practice, you may find that it's different. Try not to label your practice in any way. Just have the experience. Just do the practice. Notice how you feel. And now take at least 5 breaths to transition back to a comfortable seat. There's no rush. Any way that your body wants to do this is perfectly fine. Just connecting, feeling the parts of the body that are in contact with the mat, with other parts of the body, where the weight transfers are. And if you would like to take any props under the hips to sit comfortably, you can find those as part of your transitioning movements. If the cross-legged position doesn't feel good for you, you can extend the legs out. If you always sit with a certain leg crossed over or in front, try switching it up. Finding both sitting bones when you arrive and connecting with those roots down into the center of the earth. Lifting up nice and tall. Very slowly bring the hands together at the heart center, touching fingertips and then touching palms. See if you can feel the fingers connected. Very lightly pressing into one another. And then lift the chest and gently connect it with the thumbs. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for doing this practice with me. Namaste and Jai Bhagwan.